The View recently gave us their assessment of what is going on inside of the White House with Trump picks. They have not commented on this war in Ukraine and Russia, and they also have not commented on the Biden-Harris administration's support and enablement of Netanyahu, who is now a wanted criminal wanting to be arrested for war crimes. Neither here nor there. They focus all of their energy on Trump. So this is their latest assessment, and they're speaking about sexual allegations of people that get nominated to be an appointee in Trump's cabinet. Let's go into it.
The MeToo era is official.
The House Ethics Committee has records of AG nominee Matt Gaetz paying over 10 grand to the two women who later testified against him. And Democrats like Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury are struggling to get the House in order. Take a look.
About to have a bipartisan report released by the House of Representatives to be our AG. We've got a Fox News commentator.
Y'all said be careful, Disney is now blocking the View stuff on stuff. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's see what's going to happen.
Who's going to run the military for us? So if my colleagues across the aisle want to talk about qualifications, they want to talk about efficiency, they want to talk about...
Yeah, let's get to the commentary.
Republicans are still blocking the release of Matt Gaetz' ethics report. So I'm curious how you know who is protecting women, whether they like it or not. Sexual misconduct allegations.
What? Wait, let me just get this one more time. I want to make sure that I got the question that they about to pose to the table.
You know who is... Republicans are still blocking the release of Matt Gaetz' ethics report. So I'm curious how you know who is protecting women, whether they like it or not.
Who is producing this show? Make sure y'all let me know who the producer is for The View so I can never hire them a day in my life. That was the dumbest question that I've ever heard in my entire life, bro.
Sexual misconduct allegations seem not to matter anymore. It seems like unless you have a sexual misconduct allegation, you can't be in the cabinet.
That's true.
I mean, that's what it's looking like because... I mean, was it 11 people? And maybe one of the 11 doesn't have something going on?
Years ago, I think it was Cindy Adams used to have these parties, and they'd say, if you're not indicted, you're not invited. And it reminds me of this, in a way. It's like, oh, let's see, who's accused of sexual assault? Put them in the cabinet. And they're like, pick me, pick me.
Well, I think one of the conversations coming up around this is, does this derail the MeToo movement? And I think that's a line in the sand that we don't go backwards on 1,000%.
Nope. I think that's a line in the sand that we do go backwards on. Absolutely, we do go backwards. Let me first start off by saying that an allegation is nothing more than just that. It's an allegation. Anybody can say anything about anybody at any point, and it can be taken as an allegation. Anybody can say anything about anybody at any point, and it can be considered an allegation. It does not make it true. And I'm telling you, there are so many people, so many men that have been accused of things that they didn't do from somebody that is opportunistic because they see the path where the person is going. There are guys that get out of jail every single day out of the Innocence Project. I believe that the Me Too movement, and this is my personal belief, I believe that the Me Too movement is one of the worst things that has ever happened to men and to the culture and to society itself. So when she says that this is the thing that we are not going back on, BS. BS. Personally, this has ruined so many people. And before you even get to find out whether or not they're telling the truth, you are already convicted in a court of public opinion. And if you have a high enough position, you could be removed because you're always going to be an at-will employee. So what I seen guys start to do is they then wouldn't even go into a meeting with a woman by themselves. They wouldn't even do a one-on-one with a subordinate by themselves. They always left the door open and had somebody with them because they were fearful, not because they were doing anything wrong, but because they didn't want to be accused of something without having evidence otherwise. I seen the Me Too movement spiral out of control so bad and be such a nuisance and such the wrong thing for society. And you are just believing people just because they said that they were, and it was guys that lost their jobs and then they weren't convicted of anything, or you found out that the woman was lying, but they didn't get their jobs back because it had already been a stain on their reputation. It's horrible.
We're watching P. Diddy is in jail right now, can't get bail because people know that
P. Diddy?
criminal sexual assault has to be punished. But this does not surprise me that many people being nominated, that Donald Trump's circle would include, locker talk, people that want to grab you by the privates and help you whether you like it or not. Like, the people don't shock me, but it is getting up there. You've got now, just to be clear on my language here, alleged sexual misconduct or harassment. Gates, RFK Jr., Pete Hegseth, Elon Musk.
Donald Trump.
Yeah. This is a Donald Trump problem to me, not a Me Too problem. This is what comes with it. But one interesting thing was Caroline Leavitt, who's Trump's picks for White House press secretary, said he has chosen brilliant and highly respected outsiders to serve in his administration, and he will continue to stand behind them as they fight against all those who seek to derail the MAGA agenda. I would encourage them to separate sexual assault and sexual offenders from their MAGA agenda, or you're telling me this is part of your agenda. And that's what's coming out.
What does being Make America Great Again have to do with gender politics? Outside of making sure that we keep men out of women's sports and we keep men out of women's bathrooms. And we keep children safe by not allowing people to make sure that they transition before they're old enough to realize what happened to them. All of a sudden, stop, bro. Matter of fact, I'll tell you that some of the people that got the most allegations against them, and this is a fact, and you can actually go through and look at it, most of the people that get all of the stuff that's against them, they liberals. It don't be Republicans. It don't be people that's a part of Make America Great Again. And it doesn't matter who you are and what side of the aisle you are, whether you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. That has nothing to do with whether or not somebody is a sexual deviant. And this is the thing that I hate because it's such a disingenuous conversation. They try to tie how somebody views whether or not you should take box from somebody against somebody's will or sexual deviancy to a political party. And that's not right. Your politics has nothing to do with whether or not you're going to pull your Johnson out in front of the wrong person and do the wrong thing. Some of the people that I've seen do some of the most deviant things. If you want to talk about P. Diddy has always been a Democrat, and he's always advocated for the Democratic Party. That's a fact. He's always said vote or die and has always been take that, and Harlem shaking for the Democrats. Whether or not you want to get into something that you're not supposed to be a part of don't have nothing to do with your political affiliations. What the piss is we talking about?
I'm remembering, it's reminded me of when Kavanaugh was up for the Supreme Court. Yeah. And the FBI never really followed through on the investigation, as far as I know. Am I correct on that?
You're correct. They stopped the investigation.
So, I mean, that's the beginning of the end right there. People should have been alerted to what was going to be coming down the pike right there. So I'm not surprised by this.
Well, and I think what I'm struck by with this is Donald Trump, any incoming president, does have a right to nominate who they want for their cabinet. The Senate will go through their advice and consent role. But there are people he could put in these roles who are both better qualified, better liked, and don't have this salacious baggage behind them.
Yeah, but they're not on television.
But the Matt Gaetz pick...
Then that means that we shouldn't be taking your opinion seriously then, right? We shouldn't take any of their opinions seriously because they on television. Hey, if that's not the pot calling the kettle black, you got these lunch ladies that's giving their opinion based off of what? They on television, so why shouldn't we take them serious? Right? Should we take Sunny Hostin serious because she's what? They said that she was a lawyer, right? So should we take what she says serious because now she's on TV? I don't take what she says serious because I think that she's a lunatic, not because of her background. And I think that the fact that you're on TV gives more visibility to the voices that should be heard. In this case, not so much. You shouldn't be heard.
In particular is fascinating to me. I do not know a single Republican who likes Matt Gaetz. This is a person who is widely, universally despised in Washington, D.C. He's come after all of his colleagues. Other Fox News hosts have come out and said that this is not a good pick. Trey Gowdy, who is a big fan of Donald Trump's, was extremely critical of him. The New York Post, owned by Rupert Murdoch, has come out against Gaetz as Attorney General. So when even the people who are in your camp and your fiercest defenders are saying, Donald, this might not be a good idea, I think he should consider it. And if Matt Gaetz does end up going forward to a confirmation hearing, he's going to have to sit down and convince senators. And just a quick recap of things he said about Republicans who he will need: Susan Collins. Voters should reject her and Lisa Murkowski. Markwayne Mullin is a fool. Mitch McConnell is in shambles. Tom Tillis is trying to get another blank check for a corrupt country. John Cornyn, there are better Johns than John Cornyn. I mean, these are people he takes his time rather than to legislate or deliver for his district. He's going after his own colleagues. I'd argue he's gone harder after Republicans than he ever has Democrats. I'm not entirely convinced he's going to get confirmed, though, because other than Donald Trump, I don't know anyone who likes Matt Gaetz.
Ted Cruz likes him.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, look at Cruz.
You know, my grandmother, who passed a couple years ago, used to always tell me in Spanish, "Tell me who you walk with and I'll show you who you are." And that came to mind every single time I see one of these cabinet picks, because we are all, you know, flustered and disappointed and not surprised by these picks, but by the same token, the top of the ticket, the top of the Republican ticket, has been accused of sexual misconduct by over 26 women. The top of the...
What does she have on, and why is her jacket so big? Who is her stylist? Why is her sleeves over her hands? Is that supposed to be a style thing? And I know they got them shoulder pads in there. All right, let me not get distracted. Let me focus on what she's talking about.
The Republican ticket was found guilty of 34 felony counts involving hush payments to a porn star. The top of the Republican ticket.
Oh, you talking about the Letitia James witch hunt that they did over in New York?
Was found liable for sexual abuse of a woman. So why would anybody think that that particular party would have any problem with any of these picks? Because he is walking amongst the people that reflect who he is.
So you know what they say in Brooklyn? The fish stinks from the head.
Yes, yes. So this shouldn't be a surprise.
So they could just say anything. They just throw out a... Well, you know what they say, the left loves the right. Well, you know what they say, the higher you are, the more you fall. Well, you know what they say, if you wear red, you bleed quicker. Well, you know what they said, the fish stinks from the head. Well, you know what they say, you are who you walking around with. Oh man, this is so dumb. It's such dumb logic.
And one last thing would be, you know, we're saying there are at least 3 people of these cabinet picks that have been accused of sexual assault. But McMahon, the woman that the woman that was chosen to be appointed to be the Department of Education secretary. In 2009, she was confirmed to Connecticut's State Board of Education. And a lot of people have said that gives her the credentials to run the Department of Education. Yeah. Well, what's being reported by the Daily Beast and ABC News is in her answers to the questionnaire about her background for that job, she lied. And she said that she had a degree in 1969 from East Carolina University in education. Her degree was in French. And so when the Hartford Courant, it wasn't education, it was French.
Oh, I thought you were saying the degree was in French. I was like,
so no, she said her
she doesn't have
degree
she did not have a degree in education. Right. And when she was confronted with that, She resigned from the Board of Education. This is yet another person who he's chosen
Listen,
to lead
this
the
is,
Department of Education.
you know, this is going to go on and on and on. He's picking people, and we have a choice. We can panic with everything he does, in which case you will be on the floor going, what the hell? Or you can wait and see what goes on, wait and see how this rolls down, and then decide how we're going to deal with it. Because otherwise, you're passing all that tension on to your families.
Too late. Listen, y'all can sit here and complain about all of these self-made millionaires and these great business people that's going to absolutely take this whole... You know what I've learned about people is that they are resistant to change. People are universally resistant to change. They don't like change. They don't like things being different. They don't like the fact that Trump is about to come in and change the whole establishment and get rid of all of this bloat in these departments and no longer support the MeToo movement and completely remove all of these different layers of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that people are going to have to stand on their own 2 feet. The difference between the Democrat and the Republican Party, the biggest difference, aside from how radical liberals have become, is that Democrats exist to make sure that they drive us into bankruptcy by giving out handouts and overtaxing, and Republicans believe in removing the barriers to entry that allows for you to be successful. That's it. Nobody is supposed to hand you or give you anything. We just want what we pay for. That's it. We just want what we pay for. And so you can try to shame people. You can go back and forth, or you can deal with the reality and make the adjustment because change has happened and change is already here. All right. We just got to make sure that Biden don't blow up the whole country within 2 months before Trump takes office.